Ever find yourself standing in the middle of the grocery store just like overwhelmed by like all the choices?
Oh, yeah.
Like how many different kinds of cereal can one person even eat?
Right.
Well, someone has to decide what ends up on those shelves, aren't
True, yeah.
they? That's our cue for today's deep dive. You've been looking into becoming a category manager.
Yes, it seems like a really interesting career path, and you were right. I mean, these sources you found are fascinating.
Yeah, and it's a job most people don't even know exists.
Exactly, but it's critical in retail.
Okay, so in a nutshell, category manager, what is it?
So they're the ones deciding what products you see on the shelves, making sure they're the right products at the right time, and hopefully, for them at least, flying off the shelves into shopping carts.
And more than just a job, it really is about understanding what consumers want.
Yeah, they're responsible for like the entire strategy behind a specific product group, like you said, what to put on the shelves, when, how to price it, how to promote it. It's a lot.
They're like mini CEOs.
Exactly, yeah, mini CEOs.
Huh.
And they have to analyze everything. Market trends, what's the competition doing? What are people buying? What are they saying they want?
So the sources we have really emphasize the analytical side of
For
things.
sure. Tons of market research and forecasting.
Spreadsheets galore.
Definitely. This is a data playground for sure.
But it's not all numbers,
Oh, absolutely not. It's very much a people game too.
because you have to know how to work with people, right?
Yeah, you need to be able to communicate your vision, bring people on board.
So imagine, like, you have this amazing new product that you
Yeah.
just believe in,
Yeah.
but you need to convince the supplier to give you a good price,
Right. You have to be persuasive.
because ultimately that impacts everything else, right?
Your persuasive powers directly affect the bottom line.
I like that. So you need those spreadsheet skills, but you also need to be able to charm people over like a sales pitch.
Absolutely.
And these sources use words like negotiation, persuasion, even diplomacy to describe working with suppliers and internal teams.
It's fascinating. You need to be a data-driven decision maker, but you also need to know how to build relationships.
And this reminds me of something that you gave me about this RoleCatcher. This AI tool keeps popping up, and it's supposed to give you personalized feedback on interview skills, which I feel like would be so valuable in showcasing that you can do both, right?
It's amazing how technology is changing how we apply for jobs.
Yeah.
Those kinds of tools can give you real-time feedback and help you tailor your approach to different companies.
So you're not just sending out a generic resume to everyone. You can actually craft a story that is going to speak directly to what they're looking for.
Exactly.
But before we get too far into the tech side of things, let's go back to like the actual career path.
Sure. So most people start as a junior category analyst,
Okay.
where you're learning the ropes from more experienced managers.
So you're building that foundation, learning how to understand all that data.
Yes. Becoming fluent in sales figures and market share.
Okay. And then as you progress, you might take on leadership roles, you might manage a team, you might specialize in a particular product area.
Right. And one source used this phrase that I thought was interesting, managing the product life cycle.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's not just about selling a product, it's about shepherding it through its entire existence.
So from the moment someone's like, hey, I have an idea for a new kind of cereal,
Yeah,
you are there through every step of the process until it is on the shelf.
exactly. You're like a product midwife.
I like that. And one source even said that some category managers use their expertise to move into totally different fields, like marketing, product development. Some even start their own consulting businesses.
There really are so many different paths you can take. It's a very dynamic career path.
So it's not just a ladder you climb.
No,
It's more like you said it, a jungle gym.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
a jungle gym. You can move in any
You
direction.
could start in cereals and end up, who knows?
The possibilities really are endless.
So we've talked about the jungle gym, right? But like, what are the actual skills you need to succeed as a category manager?
Right, because it sounds like you need to be like a business detective, always looking for clues to figure out what people are going to want next.
Totally. And one of the sources actually gets super specific about the skills. So obviously there's the data stuff.
Market research, analyzing trends.
Yep, all of that. But then there's this huge emphasis on communication.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Negotiation, diplomacy, we were just talking about that.
And this source used this phrase, persuasion. Like, you really need to bring people together and get them on board with your vision.
Because you're dealing with so many different perspectives, right?
Right. Like you've got the suppliers who want the best shelf space for their products.
And your own internal teams, each with their own goals.
And then, of course, the customer who's actually going to buy this thing.
Right. And you have to find a solution that works for everybody.
So you need to be able to crunch numbers, build relationships, and explain it all in a way that makes sense to everyone.
It's a lot.
It's like being the conductor of an orchestra.
I like that.
But instead of musical instruments, you're working with products and people and profits.
And you need to know how all the pieces fit together.
Exactly. And this is where, again, I feel like that RoleCatcher thing could be really helpful.
Yeah, getting that practice with those tricky interview questions.
Because you can show them, you can do it all, right? You can analyze the data, but you can also get people excited about it.
It's about demonstrating that you have the experience to handle it all.
And speaking of experience, our sources also talk about like the typical career path. We talked about starting as an analyst.
Right, junior category analyst.
And then moving up to more senior positions. But one thing that was interesting is that it's not always linear.
Oh, definitely not. Some people use that experience as a jumping off point to do something totally different.
So we saw people going from managing a category to developing new products.
Yep, even starting their own consulting businesses.
So it really is more like a jungle gym with all these different paths you can take.
Exactly. And all those skills you learn as a category manager.
Like what? Give me an example.
So like analyzing information, negotiating, really understanding what consumers want, those are valuable skills in any business.
It's really cool how being a category manager can lead to so many different things.
Yeah, you're not stuck on just one path. You have options.
Exactly. And, as we've been going through all of this, one thing that really struck me is just how much influence a category manager actually has.
Oh, for sure.
It's like they're not just reacting to trends, they're setting them.
Right. Think about the decisions they make every single day.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is, yeah. Which products, what price, how to advertise, it all adds up.
It's like they're shaping a little corner of the world.
Exactly. And it made me think, with all this talk about sustainability and ethical sourcing now,
Yeah.
I wonder how category managers are incorporating that into their work.
That's a really good question.
Because people really care about that stuff now. Where their products come from, what the impact is.
Absolutely. Consumers are way more aware of that than they used to be.
So I think it'd be really interesting to see how category managers might include those values in their choices and if they can use their position to make things better.
Yeah. It's not just about what sells. It's about what kind of impact you're having.
Absolutely.
That adds a whole other level to it,
For sure. It's a chance to do good while also doing good business.
See, I told you, more deep dives.
Always something to explore.
Okay, so I think we have covered a lot of ground today. We talked about the skills you need, the career paths you could take, the challenges, and even how you might actually make a difference as a category manager.
It's one of those jobs that's kind of hidden, but it really impacts everyone.
Every time you walk down that cereal aisle, remember there's a category manager behind it all.
Or maybe that'll be you someday.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has given you some things to think about.
And maybe inspired you to explore a new career path.
Until next time.